All right, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Today we're going to be talking about something that we should not be doing today because we're drinking sake.
Yeah.
And that is,
It's okay
Cars.
in the U.S. though.
it is okay. And my wife was freaked out when she realized that it was okay.
Okay to
At
drink
first.
and drive.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to drink and drive as long as you're not drunk to a certain point.
Yeah, it's the federal state level is like 0.8
Yeah.
or 0.08.
Yeah, I think it's points. I don't remember.
I think it's maybe it's 0.8. Anyways, it's like 2 beers.
You know, so here's the
Yeah.
thing. Everyone always calls me a grandma on the road, and I take that insult with pride because it means
really?
I'm a safe driver.
Oh, dude,
you know.
you would get pulled over.
What?
You would get pulled over.
No.
They always pull over the suspicious. Like,
No.
slow driving
What
person.
I just mean is like even if I drink a little bit, I try not to drive. That's what I mean.
I'll tell you, I was a terrible driver until I joined the Marines.
Yeah.
And I was stationed in California.
Yeah.
And California makes you into a good driver.
Yeah.
Because people there there's no rules on the road.
Well, yeah.
Like it'll be bumper to bumper traffic, but 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like that in Boston a lot
Yeah.
too. Like the rules are more like suggestions,
Yeah.
basically. You know.
Yeah. Like the speed limit is obviously like 60 miles an hour on the roads in California, but like if you're going below 80, you're getting passed by everyone.
Right. Yeah. It's the same thing in
Like
it's tough because like the one traffic ticket I ever got was when I was going 90 in New York State because I was so used to going 90 on the highway in Massachusetts.
You know, this is going to sound insane and this is not good, but I'm going to say it. I've been pulled over. I can't even tell you how many times, and I've never once gotten a ticket.
Yeah.
Because every single time a cop pulled me over, they saw my Marine Corps sticker.
Yeah.
And the guy is like, "Were you in the Marines?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Ah, dude, so was I." So
Okay.
it turns out like just a ton of cops were former Marines.
Yeah.
So
Good old nepotism right there.
yeah,
you know?
good old nepotism. All right, let's go.
Yeah, man. America,
Yeah.
the land of the free for the connections, for people with connections. Yeah. But so today we talked a little bit about driving, but
yeah.
today I wanted to talk about American and Japanese cars.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start off by asking you first, what brand did your family drive growing up?
Chrysler
Chrysler?
for the most part.
Chrysler for the most part.
We had a couple Dodge cars. First of all, my family's like, we have a ton of cars.
Okay.
Both my parents, my brother and sister, both my sisters, they change cars like almost on a yearly basis.
Okay.
And they were like really expensive cars. Like my brother now has 2 Lamborghinis and 2, maybe 3 Ferraris.
Yeah, your family's
It's
super
either
rich,
2
man.
2 or 3 Ferraris. He's like crazy. My other sister has like a G-Wagon. My other sister has what's it called? Like what's the big SUV that's always in rap videos?
Ah, man. Hummer?
Not a Hummer. Escalade.
Escalade? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she
No,
has
I
an
was
Escalade
gonna
right now.
say, oh man, what is
I
that?
could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure she's still driving an Escalade. Maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong. She's
Okay.
gonna get angry at me.
What, Range Rover? Not Range Rover?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Range
Um,
Rover's like the new, like you
well,
spend $100K on a car.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure Carrie will tell me what car she's driving right now, and she'll
Yeah.
be like, "No,
Yeah.
you're wrong. You suck at this."
Yeah, it's-
but anyways, so what would you say is like a big difference between Japanese and American cars?
I feel like American cars pretend to be a lot better than they are.
Oh wow!
And
Bias
Japanese
showing much.
No,
Japanese cars
no.
are so good, dude. Toyotas suck.
No,
I hate Toyotas.
No, dude. Let me tell you why. Okay, so so my grandfather, he was in the Navy,
Okay.
World War II.
Yeah.
He was one of the first ships into Tokyo Bay after the surrender. He hated Japanese people till the day he died. And like,
Yeah,
he
my
was,
grandpa too.
yeah,
So
because of all the propaganda and all this stuff,
Yeah.
like they're just them Japs, you know?
yeah.
And he drove a Cadillac.
Okay.
And he was one of those guys who had like the really big, really
Yeah.
wide Cadillacs.
Yeah.
He loved American cars. I'm going to do American cars, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma got in 1997, she got a Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
And guess which car is still running?
Yeah.
The Toyota is still running.
Yeah.
You know?
So first of all, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
well, I'm not curious because I already know the answer, but like the biggest car brand here in Japan is Toyota.
Yeah.
Like Honda.
We're speaking English now. It's Honda.
Okay, sorry. Honda, which everyone's like, it's Honda. Yeah, no. I understand it's Honda, but Americans call it Honda.
Just like we say Mazda, not Matsuda.
Yeah. Anyways, so the biggest car brand here in Japan is by far Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Toyota makes like way more than cars. They make like construction equipment.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of stuff.
They're huge.
And it's like
it's like the Ford of Japan.
Yeah, for sure. But it's really interesting that when you go to the US, and I guess probably depending on the region, it's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the Honda Civic is the most common car in America.
Yeah, it is.
If you look at the numbers, it is the most common car.
Mm-hmm.
People like Americans, it's actually kind of interesting. Honda is known for its reliability in America, where in Japan, Toyota's known for that.
Yeah. Well, so it's kind of funny because this goes back to why I said like American cars tend to seem better than they actually are, whereas like Japan cars are more humble, but they actually are workhorses more because back in like, I don't know if it was the 70s or the 80s or something, but there was this whole anti-Japanese car movement because they were cheaper than American cars and they were more safe than American cars.
Yeah.
And there were people who, when they would see like a Toyota or something, they'd key the car or something like, Japan lost the war, so now they're trying to win the car war, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny because I asked you what your family drove growing up because like I remember when I would come to the States from Germany, I remember my grandfather's Cadillac and my grandmother's Toyota Corolla. And I hated the Toyota Corolla because it was so like cheap or whatever. Just like the Cadillac was
cheap.
Yeah.
Like Japanese cars look cheap.
And they're cheap cars.
Yeah.
But you know, here's the thing. That 97 Corolla is still going. I still drive that when I get home, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been like almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
But when my family came over to the United States, we were trying to watch our money and try to get the most bang for our buck. And the first car we got was a Subaru. After about 5 or 6 years, we switched to a Toyota Highlander. And we've had like Toyota cars since then. So like even now, so my family, we had a Mazda Miata for a while, but that just kind of a little bit too old. But so now what we have is we have a Toyota RAV4 and we have the Toyota Corolla, but then we also have another Toyota car that my mom's mom drove. And my mom actually, after she died, my mom brought it up from South Carolina. So now we have 3 Toyotas in our house.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say something because you brought up Subaru. And it's kind of interesting because Subaru is kind of like the dark horse of car companies.
What do you mean by dark horse?
Well, dark horse as in like kind of like no one really pays it any attention here in Japan.
Yeah.
Like people like they see Honda, they see Toyota, Mazda.
Mazda, yeah.
Right. But Subaru's like you really just don't see Subarus that often here.
Yeah, right.
But if you go, and I don't know other regions in America, but if you go to Seattle, and I would extend this to Oregon also, I would argue that it's probably the most popular Japanese brand of car. Maybe not the most common, but people like it the most.
Yeah.
People love Subaru.
Yeah.
And like they'll get the Subaru Outback, the Subaru Forester, the Subaru WRX series.
Yeah.
You see those everywhere in Seattle.
Well, so here's the thing, right? So I really feel like, and one of the reasons why we probably got a Subaru back in '99 when we moved to the States was, I think Subaru really spearheaded the SUV movement for at least Japanese cars.
And they're really known for like outdoor stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what SUVs are for. And so
I guess,
in Seattle, where people love to go hiking, love going to the mountains, it makes sense that Subaru is huge there, you know?
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give my answer after I hear yours. But if you closed your eyes and you pictured a stereotypical Japanese car and a stereotypical American car, I want to hear what you think of.
Okay, a stereotypical Japanese car is a white box with 4 wheels.
Okay.
Are we talking about Japanese cars in Japan?
I want whatever you want it to be.
Okay, so because I have to I have to spread this out. I think in Japan, the typical Japanese
It's
car in
like
Japan
the little
is
cube car.
Yeah, it's the box. Because I remember when I think it was
those cars look so stupid. I'm gonna be honest. I want one now though.
Like I think it was Nissan that came out with the Cube or something in America, and it was so trendy because it was like, oh, it's a box shape.
And everyone's like, this car is so stupid.
I know. It looks like a toy. And then I go to Japan and all the cars are like that, you know?
Yeah, they're convenient. They fit well.
Well, the thing too is having a tall ceiling really makes a difference in a car. I didn't realize how much of a difference it makes. But I guess for me, like in the States, when I think of a Japanese car in the States, I still think of like a white car that's just a regular sedan. There's nothing really special about it. It's just got like the rounded edges, but I don't know, like.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay.
Because I think my opinions are a little bit more extreme.
Yeah.
So when I think of a Japanese car, I think of a rally car. I think
what's
of
a rally car?
A rally car, like a race car.
Okay.
So we like there's an English term that we use. We call them rice burners.
Rice burners?
Have you never heard that term before? So I used to go out late at night back when I was in high school. A couple of my friends. Sorry, parents. I used to sneak out of the house. I don't know if you guys ever
I did
knew
too.
about
I
this.
think all kids do.
So there was a thing down in Kent, Washington.
Kent. Oh, you went down to Kent, huh?
Yeah. So there were illegal street races that happened, and they usually started about 1 a.m. on Friday nights. Yeah. And so we used to sneak out and go to that. Which, I mean, surprise family. Hey guys, if you've watched this far, you're gonna love our Austin and Arthur friends.
In the Austin and Arthur friends, you're going to really improve your English listening, and I mean a lot.
Yeah. So for each episode, you'll get English and Japanese subtitles, so you can check your listening and comprehension.
You'll also get access to a members-only community where you can talk with us, the both of us. Mainly me, right?
No, definitely not. For more info, click on the link here or here or here, or in the description box of this video.
Thanks for being our friend.
Woo!
I have no friends.
Yeah, so I used to go out and meet my friends like pretty much every Friday night, and we would go to these illegal street races, and they were all Japanese cars, and you would see like Skylines, you would see WRXs, you would see Hondas, what's Honda's car? I don't think it was the Accord. Civics. You would see like souped up Honda Civics.
Yeah. Oh yeah, souped up Honda Civics for sure. Yeah.
So the term was rice burners, and that was the term for Japanese cars. And it's like you can make the obvious connection there. It's like Japan likes rice, right?
Yeah.
But it was like all these like kind of cheapish like Japanese cars that were like had aftermarket parts put in them.
Yeah.
So when I think of Japanese cars, like I think of that.
You know, it's funny because if you ask me to picture a street racing car, I really can only think of like a.
You think of the muscle cars?
Well, no. I know.
Okay.
I think of like Honda. Like the brand that comes out is Honda. Like I don't think of a Toyota or a Nissan. It's a Honda.
Yeah, like it's because like 80% of the street racing cars you would see would be like Honda Civics with some like random crap thrown into it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think of that, and then when I close my eyes and when I think of an American car, I actually think of pickup trucks.
Pickup trucks, yeah, for sure.
And I think of like like Dodge and Ford.
Yeah.
Like like a Ford F-150, Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
Like. I think the most American truck is like a Ford F-250.
Yeah, well, one thing that
like
I think
just a giant truck with like huge wheels.
Yeah, like one thing that we need to talk about, I think, is like how cars, like car culture is different, because I feel like in the United States, because in the United States, everyone has a big car because they think they're going to use it for something, whether they do or not. They think they're going to use it for something.
I agree with you, but I disagree on why.
Okay.
So
tell me why. Tell me why you're wrong.
Here's my take on it.
Yeah.
I think the mentality of people buying cars is very different in Japan and America. So Japan buys a car for a purpose, right? I'm going to buy a commuting car. Which is like 90% of the reason why someone buys a car. Or I'm gonna buy a car so I can go like to a certain store and buy a whole bunch of things and I can fit everything in my car, right? So there's always like a specifically designed purpose of buying the car. But I often get asked here, when we're on the topic of cars, I often get asked here by Japanese people of like, why are American cars so big? And the reason why is because American cars are an extension of a person's home. We as Americans think of our car as our private space, and that's part, like you often think of it in the same way you think of its home. Would you disagree?
No, I kind of get that a little bit. But I think for me personally, with American cars, we don't necessarily have like a specific purpose in mind, but we think of all the things we could use a car for. And so we buy things for like the edge cases that may actually not happen, which is why so many people buy pickup trucks, but they never use the bed in the pickup truck, Because like, for Christmas, you have to take a Christmas tree home. Or if you move, you have to put your furniture somewhere, you have to have that space for that. And I mean, that's why my family bought their cars. And of course we, maybe it's because like your family was more well off than our family was. So we had to think more pragmatically, So like, this car is an extension of myself and my home. No, it's like, no, I need this car to move stuff. Because we moved a lot also when I was younger.
My family used pickup trucks quite a bit. But it was usually like, well, never mind.
It was usually what? To like...
I was going to say it was usually to help our Mexican gardeners put stuff in, but I'm just going to...
Just help our gardener.
I'm not going to talk about that.
No, it's all right, man.
Anyways.
Sorry, man.
But
no, so one thing though I found out that was interesting, right, is that in America, depending on how heavy your car is, the fuel efficiency laws, regulations are different. So the heavier a car is, the less fuel efficient it needs to be. So a lot of American cars actually build on the bigger side so that they don't have to worry about fuel efficiency so much.
What do you think about like EV cars? Like, because you really don't see them that often in the US compared to how much you see them here in Japan.
Well, so I feel like here you see hybrid cars a lot more here. Sure. I think in America, I think the EV revolution in America is happening while we've been here, so we haven't seen it as much.
Okay, I mean that's fair. Yeah. I just think that like you see so many EV cars here, like something that I'm thinking of like right off the bat is like taxis.
Taxis, yeah.
Although
are those fully electronic or are those hybrids?
They might be hybrid, but I don't know. Are they?
Because the thing that really bothers me about cars here is just how quiet they are.
They're like super quiet.
You never know that they're coming up on you until it's like, oh crap, the light's right there.
So that's why I'm actually kind of curious. Like, are they fully EV or are they hybrid? But because I never hear the engine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but here's the thing, right? So like the EV revolution is going off in the States, but it's kind of now like Toyota is kind of infamous for not making EVs. They're focusing on hybrids only. So if Toyota is making hybrids only, then it's got to be like hybrids or whatever, So for me personally, I think that I remember Elon Musk was saying that actually the EV architecture works better for cars. It makes more sense. Like the torque is better, the revving is better, it's more convenient, the speed acceleration is better. And I don't know how much I believe that because, I mean, he owns an electric car company.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of bias in there, but...
Yeah, but the thing that I'm not really that comfortable with is just how much technology is going into the cars now. Like about how, I think it was BMW basically has decided to put heated seats in all of their cars, but unless you pay a subscription, you can't activate it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I've
heard about that.
It's not just that, like... I know someone from Toyota, and he was talking to me about projects that they're doing in Toyota about how they're going to be like recording a bunch of stuff, like where you go and stuff for figuring out marketing purposes and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why I like my old cars. They don't have all that tech in them.
I'm going to say something that's going to come off as a little bit controversial, but I think in the end I'm going to be proven right. Which, I mean, I guess that's the opinion.
Which happens like once every 10 years, but okay.
But I think cars are dying, and I think they're on their way out as far as the technology.
Really? In the States?
Everywhere.
Okay. What makes you say that?
So public transportation in the form of trains just makes more sense. And I think as drone technology keeps advancing, the need for having cars as a way of transporting like goods is just going to go away, right? It's like, yeah, we're not at the stage where we can have a drone deliver a sofa, but we're not that far away from it. You know what I mean? So as technology progresses a little bit further, we're just going to have everything, like drones are just going to deliver stuff. Like if you want to go to like Costco and, you know, buy a table, you know, probably 10 or 15 years from now, you're not going to see a car delivering the table. You're going to have a drone delivering it. Right. And whether the drone's flying or whether the drone's like just driving there like a small electronic transport vehicle is one thing, but it's.
Do you mean like human powered cars, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't think that like 20 to 30 years from now, I don't think cars will be a thing.
So I think that cars will still be a thing because people like individualized transport. Just like I don't think there's a reason why taxis exist, even though trains are very superfluous in Japan. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think taxis exist because you know you're drunk in the middle of the night and you don't want to walk home.
Well, no, but I remember though because I know quite a few businessmen, and there was this one guy I know in Osaka who, I said, hey, I'm gonna go to. We were like a 15-minute train ride from Osaka Station, and he was like, I said, okay, I'm just gonna take the train, and he's like, Arthur, let's take a taxi. I was like, why? Yeah. It's like, dude, your time is so important. It'll take you 5 minutes to drive there. It'll take you 20 minutes to actually get there if you take a train. You save 15 minutes. That's worth the taxi fare.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to see is just like technology really democratizes opportunity for people, which is great. And so with the advent of autonomous cars, you're not going to see cars go away. You're going to see everyone has their own personal taxi driver. So I think the amount of drivers will decrease, but I think cars will still be around, if not even more ubiquitous than they are now, because they're so much more convenient, but you don't have to pay someone to drive you, so they'll be cheaper than taxis. That's the direction I see things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We'll see how it goes. 20 years down the road, I'll say, hi, I told you so. You want to bet?
As you show up in like a teleportation device, and I'm like, yeah, you didn't predict the teleportation technology.
Dude, can we just talk about? I'm so afraid of like, did you ever watch Star Trek growing up?
No, I thought Star Trek was for losers.
Yeah,
I was more of like a Star Wars or like.
Thanks for calling my mom a loser, man. It was.
Dude, Star Trek was so lame. Everyone was like, "Oh, let's just be friends. Let's go see the alien." No, I was on team like, "Let's go kill the aliens and install Disneyland."
Okay, all right, man.
America,
let's kill the. I mean, we did it with the Native Americans. We could do it with the aliens on Mars or whatever.
Oh man,
dude. But so like, what was I even talking about, man? So I think autonomous cars are the future, whether or not EV is going to work. I think for EV to work, the world would have to go nuclear. You'd have to have nuclear power plants everywhere.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I don't know how popular that would be for our channel.
Personally, I'm pro nuclear power.
I love nuclear power.
The thing about like the Fukushima disaster, right?
Yeah,
that was like a 6-year-old power plant that like was running on outdated technology, you know. Yeah. But I read somewhere that someone was saying that like the ideal model for nuclear power is what they do.
Keep going.
What they do in France, which is they build a lot of mini power plants, and then as they need to, they just add an extra one like a module to it.
Yeah,
you know.
I think talking about clean energy would be a really interesting topic because there's so much I want to talk about
that too. But to throw in a little bit of controversy in it, we could also talk about how America sees the Fukushima disaster and how it's played out since then.
Okay,
because that has to do with nuclear power too.
Yeah, I think we could
talk about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
You will know my opinion
Yes.
on that episode.
We'll get a lot of hate from that, but
Probably.
all right. Anyways, I'll talk to you next time.
Yep.